What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new commentary video. I hope that you all are doing well. As you all know, it is the week of Thanksgiving. So with that, I just kind of want to take a second and say thank you guys so much for always being so amazing. And I just want to say how thankful I am for you guys. Without you guys, I wouldn't be standing here in studio right now recording this. I wouldn't be myself. And I've talked about that a bit, sort of how you guys really kind of like changed my perspective on a lot of stuff and sort of like what you guys mean to me. And I've talked about that a lot, but it is Thanksgiving. So I just want to say how thankful I am for you guys and how thankful I am for this channel and really what you guys have been able to let me do. And, we're only really just getting started. This is, once again, something that's going to go on for a really long time. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for that. And we're going to hop right into things. So today we actually have a little request here from Jonah. So I'm going to go ahead and read that. What's going on, Hunter? I have a really quick question for you. As you know, the holidays are coming up, and I find it really hard to connect with my family. We disagree fundamentally on politics, and I was just curious what you feel about this topic. Is there any way that you know how to cope or deal with disagreeing with family members during the holidays? This, I actually think, is a really, really good question, because obviously, we're in a very interesting time in politics. I don't have to say that without you guys knowing what I'm talking about. And of course, we're all going to feel differently about it, and it doesn't matter how you feel or how you voted. That's not today's topic. But what is today's topic is that a lot of people feel sort of isolated, or they feel that they have a hard time at holidays because they disagree with their family. And I'm sort of in that camp. I disagree with my family quite a bit on politics. I grew up in a very different environment than how in what I believe in. And so I want to talk a little bit about how I navigate that during holidays or whatever it may be. I want to just talk about that a little bit. And the first thing that I'm going to tell you is something that a lot of people are probably not going to like my response to, but I'm going to say it anyways. Ignore it. And I know that that's sort of an oxymoron answer, but the truth is that I feel like most people try to want to change these people's minds or debate or these different things. Ignore it. That is my best piece of advice that I'm going to give you today, is simply ignore it. I know that it's hard, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But the best thing that you can do is just ignore it. And the reason why is this. As somebody that focuses and is literally a reporter, right? Here's what I want to tell you. It does not matter what you do, you are probably not going to change this person's mind. There's a reason why debates don't really matter and why so many people don't really do debates anymore. Because we realize you're not going to change somebody's mind, unfortunately. And it doesn't matter if you don't like that answer or whatever. It's just the fucking truth. Most people that vote red are going to vote red forever. And most people that vote blue are going to vote blue forever. Sure, there's a small minority and people that do feel that they are bipartisan and will change their ways. But that's not how most people think. And typically, if there's somebody that wants to argue with you at Thanksgiving, they're definitely not going to change their opinion. So that's why I think that it's important, is to simply ignore it. Because the thing is that a lot of people, especially people on the left, have this idea that I need to change their mind. I need to enlighten them why they're wrong or why they need to change. And in reality, you need to stop fucking doing that. That's not going to work. If you want to have that conversation and you want to try to change their mind, or you want to have a conversation about it, that's fine. Just understand the outcome of that situation. You're probably going to kind of get into a bit of an argument. You're going to get into a bit of a back and forth. So if you want to get into it, that's fine. But just understand the consequences of that. You're not going to be able to simply change their mind in one conversation. And that's something that I think that a lot of people do not understand. And with that, with the importance of ignoring it too, is that in a lot of cases, if they are somebody that's really extreme in their views, there's somebody that's going to want to argue about it. And when you simply go to have a conversation about it, and there's somebody that likes to argue or bicker or anything like this, it's not going to start a positive conversation. It's not going to spark a really important conversation. So really, that's my other point too, is just like, look, if you're somebody that likes to talk about that sort of thing, just know that sometimes it's not going to go your way. And I think that's really important too. And also separating yourself from political discussions too, I think is really important. I typically don't get into political discussions during the holidays for that exact reason. I simply just don't want to start that conversation. I don't want to start that argument. So I'm not going to be a person that is going to sort of, put myself in that scenario where it's going to start a conversation. And also remember this too. You're able to walk away from a conversation, which is something that I think that some people forget. You are not locked into a conversation. You are able to disconnect yourself from that conversation, either disconnect with your phone or simply just walk, so like literally walking out of the conversation. Like, I think that's something that a lot of people are afraid to do, and you don't need to be. Because here's the thing. If this is a person, when you're having this conversation about politics or whatever, it may be a controversial topic, and And when you tell them, hey, I don't want to talk about this, or you're going to leave the conversation or whatever, and they throw a fit about it, that's something beyond like, oh, wow, we just disagree fundamentally on politics. No, that is just somebody that you probably shouldn't be like having in your life. Like, it's just time to get them out of your life, because that to me is a little absurd, is if they are somebody that can't even like have a conversation, or, there's somebody that is going to hate you, agree with you or whatever. I think that that is just an example of something where it's like, okay, this is somebody that I'm just not going to conversate with at all. Like, I'm going to separate myself from them in the future and currently. That's my opinion on it. There are extremists on both sides, but the thing is that we need to understand that if you are dealing with somebody that is an extremist, is that it's okay to separate. It's okay to sort of guard yourself off from that person. Just be prepared for what that may cause or whatever. I think that is something that we don't talk about enough in these sort of conversations, is that we're not like, oh yeah, it's okay to sort of just disconnect from it. Instead, we try to find a solution and try to change their mind or something like that, which I genuinely do think isn't going to work. And another thing that I'm also going to suggest a little bit really fast is also find things to talk about that won't lead to politics. Something like sports or, video games or movies or TV shows or things like this, that you can sort of steer the conversation so that it doesn't lead down that path. I also think is something healthy to do. And also just remember that this is, like 2 days out of the year. And that I know that it sucks, but also I talked about it a while back about sort of there are going to be things in your life that are going to make you uncomfortable and unhappy. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're always going to be bad. And I think that that is also important to remember too, is that sometimes you are going to be uncomfortable. Sometimes you're going to be in situations where you're not having fun, or you're sort of like in these cases where you just fucking hate what's going on. That is my opinion on it too, is that that's something that I kind of remind myself of too, is that just because it's a bad situation now does not mean that it's always going to be a bad situation, and that we can learn from this and we can sort of just use it as a time to just sort of escape too. That's my opinion on it, but everybody's going to have their own opinion on how they handle it. But that's just my quick little thoughts on it. I know that it's sort of a short little video today, but I didn't want to spend too much time just, rambling, because it is the holidays. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you are having a wonderful holiday. I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Also go down in the description, join our Discord, or use the link in the description to buy yourself W Energy for 10% off of anything on their website. That includes energy drinks, merchandise, literally anything on their website is 10% off with our discount link or discount code Sigma934 for 10% off of anything on their entire website. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful holiday, and I will talk to you in the next video. Peace!